From intense sparring sessions with top-tier boxers to rigorous strength and conditioning training, here are all the ways Conor McGregor is training to fight Michael Chandler. Let's begin with how he's changing his fighting style to prep for the fight. Conor's pretty well known for his versatile striking. I mean, his striking skills are off the charts. But in his last few fights, especially the ones against Dustin Poirier, he adapted a newer fighting style. Conor left behind his signature karate-style stance and movement and adapted a more boxing-oriented approach. This resulted in 2 devastating losses for the former 2-division champion who got knocked out and suffered a broken leg in the process. Yikes. Now, the UFC champ's preparing for his comeback fight against American MMA fighter Michael Chandler, and rumor has it that he's returned to his original fighting style. According to Stephen Thompson, a UFC welterweight contender, the UFC champ's getting back to his roots, which is his karate. Yes, Conor's never taken karate in his life, but he's trained with a lot of karate fighters, and that's where he gets his fighting style from.
Less than a minute in, Conor McGregor announces his return with about as many...
I mean, come on. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Conor McGregor is his insane fighting style. According to Thompson, if you've ever shaken the dude's hand, he has a way stronger grip than anyone. In fact, he said Conor's got a melon of a fist. It's no wonder that he puts out fighters with his one-hitter-quitter punch. So, in the fight with Chandler, we're going to see a Conor who's listened to his fans. And he's ready to blow Chandler out of the game. His karate-style stance and fighting are influenced by his background in kickboxing and boxing, as well as his training with famous boxers like Gunnar Nelson. Conor's strongest ability is the fact that he switches his stances between southpaw and orthodox, and that depends on whether he wants to focus on offense or defense. He's also great at range control and timing, both of which he uses to land his deadly left cross and other strikes. This style of his fighting was most apparent when in his bouts against Eddie Alvarez and Jose Aldo. The UFC champ knocked them out in less than 13 seconds and knocked them out in 2 rounds to become the first UFC fighter in history to hold more than 1 belt at the same time. He also used his fighting style effectively against Nate Diaz in their rematch in 2016. But it was the year after that, in 2017, when things changed, and it was because McGregor decided to step into the realm of boxing. Following that, he opted for a more boxing-centric fighting style after he fought against the legendary Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, the style sacrificed some of his versatility and mobility, but it was still amazing. Unfortunately, the style didn't work as well when Conor was paired up with Poirier in a fight. Dustin exploited the other UFC fighter's lack of leg kicks and calf kicks defense and ended up pressuring him with power punches and volume. It was quite a sad fight if I'm being honest. But now that McGregor's realized what he did wrong, he's well on his way to making it right. Mystic Max gone back to his old style, and he hopes to regain his former fame and glory by proving that he's still one of the best fighters in the game. But fighting Michael will be a tough battle because he's a powerful striker who can wrestle for days, but Conor has come prepared. He can show the same speed and strength that made him a superstar, and who knows, he might even be able to pull off yet another stunning knockout.
He's good. He's doing a fantastic job of defending. Look at him spinning around.
Steven, who's a full-time coach himself, considers Conor to be an iconic coach inside the Ultimate Fighter house. Steven said that he thought Conor was a magnificent coach. He cared about his guys, and that was fun to watch and see, since that's what he did for a living. Thompson said that it was interesting to see him share the same interests as him, because according to him, a lot of guys want to teach people how to fight, but Conor actually cares about his trainees. That's not really a surprise. I mean, Conor really showcased his training skills when he led Team Europe against Team USA in the Ultimate Fighter's 22nd season. In that season, he mentored some great UFC names, like Marcin Rzucek, Saul Rogers, and Artem Lobov. It was in SBG Ireland when he helped his teammates Dylan Danis and James Gallagher work on their striking skills. If I'm being honest, Conor's the reason they're all still standing today. In his fight with Michael Chandler, Conor will have a chance to display his karate-style fighting as well as his coaching abilities. It won't won't just be a clash of the fighters. It'll be a clash of their skills, styles, and their will to fight until the end. But the million-dollar question is, who's gonna win? Ever since Michael signed up with Dana White's promotion, he's carved a niche for himself as one of the most entertaining fighters in UFC history. Known as the Iron, Chandler's not just explosive, but he fights to entertain the masses. That's his primary goal. Michael definitely has the skill set and ability to pose a serious threat to Conor, but let's be honest, the Irishman's definitely winning this one. He's got the knockout power. Conor's built his entire career over how devastating his power punch is. In fact, the Brazilian fighter Jose Aldo lasted merely 13 seconds against Conor's fatal straight left. And Eddie Alvarez, who survived no less than 3 knockouts, was pretty much crushed after his fight with Conor. Even Dustin, who won 2 fights against McGregor, said that the Notorious was the hardest hitter he's ever met. And that's a big deal because the Diamond has been paired up against the likes of terrific fighters like Justin Gaethje and Khabib. It's true though, Conor hits hard. Even Nate Diaz couldn't fight him off without knockdowns of his own. It's all because of the Irish fighter's extraordinary punching power. It's his most powerful tool, and that's all it'll take to finish Chandler off in about 2 rounds. I mean, of course, that's not all. Michael's got a pretty weak chin. Yeah, Chandler's tough as nails, but the former Bellator fighter has fought in a number of wars throughout his career and takes the worst of his opponent's blows right before he reaches his limits. His spirit is pretty commendable, but unluckily, his chin doesn't match his spirit. Conor's pretty accurate with his power punches. The Irishman isn't just aggressive, he's also extremely calculated. He's going to come for Michael's chin. And that's how he's going to flatline the American fighter. There's only one way I see a fight between them ending, with McGregor knocking the lights out of Michael Chandler. I mean, he's definitely training for it. But it doesn't help that Chandler has a poor fighting IQ either. In recent times, Arman Tsarukyan challenged the American fighter to a bout. Arman took aim at the Iron's fight IQ by saying that it's the lowest of the entire division. Ouch, that must have stung. Tsarukyan trash-talked Michael to try to get him to agree to a matchup, but he's kinda right. Michael does have a pretty careless fighting style. He pretty much completely ignores his wrestling skills until he's taken a hit from an opponent during a kickboxing exchange. Once Michael's dropped out or rocked, he tries to take down his opponent by avoiding their KOs. He rarely, if ever, uses his extraordinary wrestling skills in an important fight. Anyway, that's it from me on how McGregor's training to beat Chandler.